Flexing that ankle. Oh, Lee, this late in the game, you do not want to see.
Caitlin Clark is injured again. And this time, fans aren't just concerned. They're furious. Because this isn't just a bump or a bruise, it's her second injury of the season, and depending on how serious it is, it could sideline her for a while. But what's really frustrating fans is how avoidable this whole situation was.
Stephanie White has now got questions to answer.
Because this goes beyond one play. It's a cumulative effect, and it's been building all season. From the refs to opposing players to the Fever's own decisions, Caitlin Clark is not being protected as she should. Not physically, not strategically, not by the people who should know exactly what she means to the game. And now, there's real concern, not just for Caitlin's health, but for her career, and by extension, for the success of the entire WNBA. We've already seen what happens when she's not on the court. Ratings dip, ticket demand crashes, the excitement flatlines, that humble pie moment after her last absence. The league is about to get another extra-large slice. So let's get into what happened, why fans are furious with Stephanie White, and the colossal mistakes that add up to what could be the biggest blown opportunity in sports history. But first, like this video and drop a heart in the comments to wish Caitlin a full recovery.
Boston hands it off as Clark's back in. She goes down. And midcourt and flexing that ankle.
Oh, Lee, this late in the game, you do not want to see.
So this was the play against the Storm where Caitlin Clark appeared to aggravate her groin. And now she's officially out for an undetermined period of time. Stephanie White called her day-to-day.
With Caitlin, when did you guys find out about this groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment.
But Fever fans have heard that before.
How is she doing? Is there any timeline for her return?
Yeah, she's doing well. She's doing well. Again, no timeline. I think it's day-to-day, and for us to just make sure that we're continuing to be supportive of DB.
Now that we know DeWanna wasn't really day-to-day, she'd requested to sit out as the team quietly shopped her around, fans aren't buying Stephanie White's press conference answers anymore. It seems like this could go one of two ways.
Like, it's one of two things. It's either it's groin tightness and she'll be back for the Commissioner's Cup game. She's probably going to miss these next two games. Or it's a groin strain and she's out for the All-Star game. Like, it's one of those two, and there's no in between.
And there's reason to believe that even if this is a minor injury, Caitlin should sit out for an extended period of time. Not because fans want it, but because the pattern is getting harder to ignore. There's clearly a relationship between all these injuries, and nothing seems to be getting fully resolved.
But I think we're getting into territory now where it is not, I don't think it's a good idea to just chance it. I don't think it's a good idea to put pressure on yourself to perform when obviously these are all left leg. These are all in the same leg area. So there's definitely something going on around there.
And beyond all that, many believe this isn't just a case of Caitlin getting hurt on one random play. The growing belief is that she's been playing through an injury for days, maybe weeks, and just aggravated it against the Storm. And honestly, there are a few compelling reasons fans are buying into that theory. First, the numbers. Since that brutal game against Connecticut where she got roughed up, Caitlin's looked off. Not just cold, off, especially from three. She's gone 1 for 23 from deep over the last few games. For someone known for logo threes, that's not a slump. That's a warning sign. But then, there's this.
So if you guys did not see, in this game right here, against the New York Liberty, she's doesn't have anything strapped up, and people are saying her quad was strapped up against Connecticut Sun. That is a very high strapping up for a quad.
And this is where fans are losing it on the Fever, and more specifically, Stephanie White. Because if Caitlin really was playing hurt all this time, then it means one thing. She was rushed back.
You guys rushed her back. And within rushing her back, she re-injured that same quad. And then you rushed her back again. And then within rushing her back, she was forced to put pressure and put stress on different areas surrounding that quad. That leads us to our most recent groin injury.
It's true, when one part of your body isn't 100%, you start compensating, shifting pressure to other muscles and joints. And that's how you end up with even more injuries. So when fans saw Caitlin with that heavy wrap around her leg after her return, the question became obvious. Should she have even come back that early? And speaking of that, let's go back to the Storm game. because this is the moment that has fans absolutely livid with Stephanie White.
There's a lot of speculation that she did get hurt in the final seconds of the Seattle game.
Caitlin was put back into the game with seconds left, up by 8. Like, why? Sure, maybe Caitlin asked to go back in. Maybe she was trying to break out of her slump. But with 16 seconds left and the game already in hand, the coach's job is to protect the player, especially this player.
This one's on the coach. This one seems to be on the coach.
Add in the fact that she's clearly been playing through pain, with her leg taped up multiple games in a row, and you really start to question Stephanie White's judgment. Because at some point, it stops being about guts and starts being about risk management. And right now, a whole lot of fans think the Fever and their coach failed that test.
Caitlin Clark clearly not looking like herself. The Indiana Fever has the game put away, yet we still put her back in the game at 45 seconds left. Caitlin Clark dealing with an injury, not looking like herself. The game is already out of hand, yet we still put her back in with 45 seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing.
And this is where fans are really starting to worry, because it's becoming clearer that Caitlin Clark isn't being managed the way she should be. She's got that ultra-competitive fire. She wants to play. She wants to help the team. She knows the spotlight is on her, not just from Indiana, but the entire WNBA. She's carrying the weight of everything, even if she doesn't talk about it. But that's exactly the problem. When you've got someone who pushes through pain, who never wants to sit, who feels responsible for a team and a league, you need a system in place to protect her from herself. Because if she keeps pushing through, if she keeps playing hurt, eventually it won't just be a missed game or two. It could be everything.
I just wonder if she's playing through a little more pain than she should. I mean, look what happened to Tyrese Halliburton in the NBA Finals game when he tore his Achilles heel. He had also mentioned having some pain there, and this was like the pinnacle of his career. So he attempted to play through that, and at the very end, he went down.
And that's what makes all of this even more alarming, because just a year ago, the idea of Caitlin Clark missing significant time felt unthinkable. She didn't miss games at Iowa. She powered through everything. That was part of her legend. But now, she's missed nearly half the season, and it's all linked to what looks like a lingering issue with the same leg. An issue that's noticeably affecting her performance. An issue that, if not managed properly, could nag her all season or longer.
There's something going on. Is it the nagging quad injury? But it's something to do with the lower half of her body. It is a groin injury. Now we've got an idea of why she's struggling from long range, where it requires, some real push on three-point shots, especially the kind that she takes. And there's nothing worse than a groin injury. It will nag the shit out of you. Trust me, I've had several.
And here's what's especially concerning. This isn't just about one injury. It's about compensation. When you play hurt, your body adjusts. You favor one leg. You shift your mechanics. And that's a dangerous game, especially for women athletes who are already more prone to knee injuries due to anatomical differences.
But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. And with women as well, we are more prone to knee injuries even than the men because of the angle that our hips go to our knees. So the last thing you want is her compensating or her groin not firing properly, and she goes to cut to the side and then all of a sudden something blows in her knee. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so be it. She has such a long career.
We've seen it time and time again. Courtney Vandersloot, Juju Watkins, Cameron Brink. The list of star women's players who've gone down with serious knee injuries is long and heartbreaking. An ACL tear isn't just a setback, it's a season ender, a career-altering moment that can derail everything. And here's the nightmare scenario. What if that happened to Caitlin Clark? Imagine her tearing an ACL in garbage time, during that Storm game, while already playing on a clearly compromised leg. That wouldn't just be a tragedy for her, it would go down as the biggest tactical failure in WNBA history. Full stop. We're talking about a moment that could have set the league back a decade. All the momentum, the new fans, the record-breaking ratings, gone in an instant. And that's not hyperbole. Because here's the hard truth. No player has ever meant more to the league's future than Caitlin Clark does right now. And if you think I'm exaggerating, wait till you hear how devastating this is for other players in a few minutes. Now, to be clear, this isn't all on the Fever. Fans and analysts are now calling out the league itself for how the situation got so bad. Because the officiating has been atrocious. And it's played a massive role in this whole mess.
And like, they just kept shoving Caitlin. They're like, well, they can't just keep calling fouls. I'm like, they're literally just running around hacking her. The referees have made it like a point that this is how you beat the Fever. You hack them. You don't even, it's not being physical. You just hack them. Because the referees are going to allow them be hacked.
It's no secret that the Fever have consistently gotten the short end of the whistle this season. And nowhere is that more obvious than when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Game after game, opposing players are taking free shots at her. Bumps, grabs, body checks, and walking away with no consequence. And while fans have been sounding the alarm for weeks, the game against the Sun was the moment everything boiled over. Because it wasn't just the now infamous eye poke or the body check that had fans in an uproar, it was everything that led to that moment.
This is JC Sheldon right here with an entire handful of Caitlin Clark's shoulder and bicep, and she's twisting it. Okay? I mean, this is wild. Here's the zoomed out look, the snapshot. I mean, this league does not have control of its players.
But this level of physicality, apparently, is part of the WNBA's DNA. Because while we can argue over missed calls against Caitlin Clark and the Fever, this isn't just an Indiana problem. It's a league-wide issue.
And one coach told me, we tell our players to be as physical as they can possibly be for 40 minutes because we know for 38 of them, they're pretty much going to get away with it. So I think everybody would like to see a tighter whistle and a little bit more freedom of movement.
Yeah.
That's not just a coaching tactic. That's an admission that the refs aren't doing their job. When coaches build game plans around physicality because the league won't enforce its own rules, that's when players get hurt. And it's not just Caitlin. Jade Melbourne of the Mystics literally got her tooth knocked out by an unnecessary elbow while I was writing this script. No exaggeration, that just happened. Another reminder that when the league prioritizes let them play over player safety, the consequences are real. And this has been happening for years. It's nothing new. But now, it's threatening the one player who is single-handedly saving the league. And if you really want to go forensic with it, here's something a lot of fans are connecting the dots on. Caitlin Clark added a significant amount of muscle this offseason. Everyone saw it, the flexing on the sidelines, the added bulk. It was a big storyline heading into the season. But the reason she had to bulk up was because she was taking a beating last year. The message was clear. If you're going to survive in this league, you better build armor. But here's the twist. When you rapidly add muscle, especially in your core and legs, it can mess with your mechanics. Your stride changes, your lift on shots changes, and most importantly, your risk of injury increases if your movement patterns haven't adapted fully yet. So yeah, maybe, just maybe, if the league encouraged officials to actually enforce the rules, she wouldn't have had to build herself into a linebacker just to make it through a season. Maybe if the league toned down the physicality a bit, instead of treating it like a selling point, we wouldn't be on the edge of another Caitlin Clark injury spiral.
But it does make me wonder if a player like SGA can get all these fouls called, maybe the refs should call them similarly for Caitlin. Because if the players defending Clark know that they're going to get a whistle every time they hand check her or cover her physically, they will probably do it a lot less. And I get it, you're trying to neutralize this player, but you know, we've entered the realm of player safety here, and Caitlin Clark, who has now gone out for a third time, so I think that this needs to be reassessed.
And just to be clear, nobody's saying Caitlin Clark should be immune from contact. Physicality is part of the game. That's basketball. That's sports. But there's a massive difference between playing tough defense and blatantly ignoring obvious fouls or letting dirty plays slide. What fans are asking for isn't special treatment. It's basic enforcement of the rules. And that starts with the refs. Call the fouls. Stop swallowing the whistle just because it's Caitlin. Then it's on the league to back that up. Find the players who cross the line, suspend the repeat offenders, and set a standard. But it also starts with something more fundamental. Respect. Respect from the other players. Respect for the star who's not just growing the game, but putting food on everyone's table. Whether they want to admit it or not, Caitlin Clark is the rising tide that's lifting all boats. And if you look at other leagues, like the NBA or the NHL, stars get protected. And it's kind of mind-boggling that none of this has been addressed. Because what happens next? It's going to be ugly. Again.
And it's also a huge blow to the WNBA. Whether some fans like it or not, it was proven the last time that she was out with injury that the WNBA does better when she is on the court. The WNBA ratings across the league dropped by over 50% when Caitlin Clark was out with injury. And this is obviously such a crucial time and a crucial year for the league because they go into CBA negotiations at the end of the year.
It's to the point where it's not even a debate anymore. It's a measurable pattern. When Caitlin Clark is out, ratings drop off a cliff. Viewership stalls, social engagement dries up, and suddenly the WNBA feels quiet. But the moment she comes back, boom. And it's because of moments like this.
It's the nerve, the second-year players clearing out that side of the floor, shooting on Stewie, and then watch the reaction with one another. Stewie's laughing, Caitlin knows it's ridiculous. Just out there having a good time.
Caitlin's return against the Liberty wasn't just a feel-good moment. It was a ratings earthquake. That game averaged 2.2 million viewers and peaked at 2.8 million. One of the highest-rated games in WNBA history. Because when Caitlin's on the floor, people show up, in the arena and on their screens. But now, we're about to watch the numbers tank again. And it gets worse. There's a real chance Caitlin misses the Commissioner's Cup final, a marquee event meant to boost league excitement and revenue. Even worse, she could miss the All-Star game. That would be a full-blown ratings disaster. And for the players, the stakes aren't just about exposure, it's cold, hard cash. Even if Caitlin misses just one of those events, the ripple effect could mean millions lost in potential ad dollars, bonuses, merchandise, and momentum. This isn't just about the Fever. It's not even just about Caitlin anymore. The entire league is gambling with its biggest ticket, and fans know it.
I need to get in the field.
You need to come to the
I
meetings.
gotta get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us. If y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sit out.
That's a possibility for real.
Yeah.
If WNBA players think they have any leverage left after a second Caitlin Clark hiatus, they're kidding themselves. Owners aren't going to cave to demands knowing that Caitlin Clark is driving everything, the ratings, the merch, the media buzz, and when she's not on the court, the numbers collapse. Everyone sees it now. Her first injury closed the coffin on player leverage. This one nails it shut. It's over. And the craziest part? The league and the players still don't seem to get it. But Caitlin's fans? They do.
About this groin injury and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our
Who gives a shit how she responds to treatment? Keep her out for a week. Keep her out for a week or two. Let's make sure she's healthy. 110%, 150%.
Right now, the trust is gone. Fans have seen enough. A league that punishes its biggest star on the court and a team that won't protect her even when she's clearly in pain isn't just failing Caitlin Clark. It's risking the future of the women's game. It might sound soft to call out the refs, to ask for fewer cheap shots, or to suggest that Caitlin deserves some protection. But even the haters should ask themselves, do you really want a league without her? If you're still here, drop a basketball in the comments to let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.